Next on the agenda is Needy Streamer Overload, and oh my god, do we have so much to talk about with this one. We have way too fucking much to talk about this one, so let's get fucking into it. So one of the first notes that I had for this, because this is episode like 3 to goddamn like 8, again, a lot of episodes. We have like 5 episodes we're condensing into very small, very small things here. Oh, I also need to fix my model again, because for some reason it likes to turn. There we go. That's just gonna annoy me a little bit. Okay, alright. First note that I have, I think the overall messaging of this show is the game, and the game included, is that you should love how you want to be, but you have Jesus. I think the overall messaging of the show and the game included is that you should live how you want to be, but you have to be you have to be a little bit crazy too. Understanding that the way you can be, or the person that you want to be, is the best person that you, Jesus Christ, what the fuck did I write here? I think the overall messaging of the show, and the game included, is that you should live how you want to, but you have to be a little crazy too. Understanding that this is the way you can be the person you want to be in the best way that you can flourish. But many people lack the conviction and lack the drive. I think that is almost a level of humility that you need, and understand that things can go away at any time, and that you need to try your hardest to keep it if you don't want it. So I'll address that because that seems like the ending point a little bit. So we'll come back to that point, because that's basically going to be my overarching feeling of how I feel about the show and what it's doing and the overall expansive message that it's trying to pull, along with adding that to the game. So then with the second one is, I cannot express how happy I am for the main girl to have broken out of that terrible relationship. I really want to highlight that. Also, I'm going to go ahead and try Okay, well, Streamer Overload Anime. Give me a hot second as I pull up the character. Yeah, it is Michika Kashi. I think that's her. Oh, it wasn't crazy. It was fucking. Oh my god, I did not realize this. I did not realize that the fucking like girl who I just called Lollipop, right? I didn't know when they said that. I was like, what is this, the group name? Which I was so confused. I did not realize that the leader of that group, that the streaming group that's going against K-Angel, is actually Poison Dead Pot Girl Purple Lollipop. I did not realize that was the full name. The entire time I was like, that's a lot of a mouthful for a streamer name. And then I realized that the streamer name was something Russian, and I was like, wait, are they Russian? No, that's just her full name. So I'm just gonna call her Lollipop. I'm not calling her all that. I'm not fucking calling her all that. But yeah, so when I brought up the main girl Kashi, so for the last couple of episodes, or at least for like 1 through 3, we've seen Kashi kind of be the centerpiece of this anime, where she has been the character who is kind of just stuck between like wanting to be free, but also not really having the conviction to. Where we see her kind of using like the look that she has and all that to try to get herself money at this like weird bar place. But her friend, which is Michika, the one goth girl streamer, acknowledges that like Kashi's more, she's more than that. She's like, yeah, you could do that, and I get it, it's good money, but like, you know, you could be more. And I'm kind of disappointed that you're not acknowledging that you can't be more. And she's kind of, we see her live. She has like a shitty boyfriend that doesn't treat her well. Really fucking shitty boyfriend that doesn't treat her well. But through the first episode, which is episode 4, we actually see her break out of that and actually like start to grow. And she's actually becoming the person that like she wants to be, and someone who is happier, which gave me so much of a cathartic feeling when I saw her come home after a break. Oh no! First of all, the first thing that she does is that she grabs like the bottle, because I guess with episode 4, like her boyfriend's showing her all like the shitty messages that people like are talking about her and shit like that, and being like, God, can you believe that like people are like God, people are saying this, you should always take their advice. It's like criticism, despite the fact the boyfriend also gets criticism for his band and doesn't want to do it. It's so fucking funny. But like showing her that, and then she goes to her job, basically like pours drink on them and says, go fuck yourself, goes to her boyfriend and like just tells him to like fuck off, basically, like smashing his guitar, doing all this shit. And it's, you know, she needed to do that. She needed to do that. That was long overdue. That was long overdue. She should have kicked him out a long fucking time ago, and I am so happy she was able to do that. And she is like immediately happier. Like now she's hanging out with the streamer group and like her old friend. She's like getting dressed up and all that stuff. Now I have my weird feeling about it because I feel like Michika and Nichika Lollipop are molding her into being them, and I think she's going to join that streaming group at some point, but I don't think she has the same level as conviction as any other streamers that we've seen when it comes to K-Angel, Lollipop, Michika, like, oh, I don't think she has the same level of conviction or crazy that she has, and I think she's gonna have to delve into a world that she's not prepared for, and we're gonna see kind of the downfall of that. But for now, like, I kind of hope that that's not the case. I kind of hope, in a weird sense, Akashi actually becomes the one that flourishes out of all of them. Like, I hope that she is the one that is able to, like, flourish beyond the group, is the one that goes against K-Angel, and the one that actually is, like, being able to, the proper one to actually replace K-Angel. I think that would be super fun, super cool, super cathartic. I think that would be a fun thing to see. I do think so. But it does make me happy seeing her out of that relationship and like now being able to be better, which is cool. The third note, Nichika, Lollipop, and Michika are trying to give the main girl a hand, finding her new path and doing what she wants. How will this turn out? I do not know. So that was mentioning before of like the streamer group and her friend helping her, finding her style. They take her clothing shopping, being like, you're in a new era, you're gonna try your best, so you're like, you need to change, you need to do that, all that stuff. Though that was that whole thing. Jesus Christ. I hope this show uses more multimedia segments that they did with the bumper. So I forget which episode it was, but there was a point, actually there was multiple points now that I think about it, where like we see someone watching K-Angel stream, and K-Angel's mad that they leave, and they use like a like a IRL mixed with like claymation scene to like mimic like K-Angel getting mad, being like, hey, I want your attention, give me your attention, I should be the only thing that like you give the attention to. And then there's the episode where we go into Michika's backstory, which is the goth streamer girl, and they use like a whole like very like found footage weird thing where like two dudes are like carrying a camera and stuff like that, and I don't think this is the first time they've used stuff like that. But Livestream Overload I appreciate just on a massive aesthetic wise, not just because it's the like neon colored show, which it does a really good job with that. I think it uses all those colors very well in showing like people's emotions, using it for the color palette, using it for the shows. It's all been very well. It's all been very good. I actually appreciate it very much. I love how it looks. It's very beautiful. But also at the same time, it just gives like this eerie, like just weird feeling to everything. They are 100% doing a fantastic job with it. They are doing a massive great job with it, and I genuinely appreciate it so much for everything. For like visually, if you take anything away from any time I talk about Native Streamer Overload, please just go and just visually, it's worth the watch. Even if the show isn't great, even if you don't like the vibe of what the show is doing, just visually, I think it's impressive for what the show is doing. Also, who is the studio that's doing this? I forget. The studio is U-Star Pictures, and from what I feel like I remember they're doing certain stuff. Oh no, they were just like the Gacha studio, but they have done a video game adaptation for stuff. They've done Arknight, they've done Azure Lane, which is mostly stuck to the like, it's stuck mostly to the fucking Gacha stuff. But like they're being impressive with it. I'm loving what they're doing with it so far. It's beautiful, it's nice, it's cool. Genuinely, like, if anything, visually, like, Native Streamer Overload should be something you should check out. Okay, next point that I have, it is kind of crazy that K-Angel inspired all three of them in a way, and how they have become a main threat to her. A tale as old as time when it comes to the landscape of social media. It also shows that K-Angel's influence isn't all that bad. It's all in how you take it and how you input it into your life, rather than just her doing stuff means bad. So, two parts here. One, I do like what they're doing with the dynamic of the group and K-Angel. We already saw it before in like the previous 3 episodes, but we do delve in more here, specifically in the Nichika segment, because Nichika actually runs into K-Angel out of her like streamer persona. Like she sees her in like her normal, just plain, well not plain, because she actually has a really good aesthetic, but like that like gothic all black like stuff that she has, and Nishika actually is the one that recognizes her, like, oh, you're K-Angel. Oh, my fault, Queen. I didn't recognize you. But they actually like go and do stuff, which we'll talk about because that is a note that I have, I think. If I don't, I'll make sure to mention it at some point. But it does also show how, like, you know, K-Angel's influence isn't all that bad. Because in the first 3 episodes, I feel like a lot of the emphasis with K-Angel was talking about how, like, oh my god, people listen to K-Angel and they do all this stuff and they're influenced to do such weird things and they're influenced to be bad or not great. And there's a whole interview, there's one episode where there's a whole interview with a person, K-Angel, and she's just like, I'm just doing what I'm doing. What people take from it is their choice. And I think to an extent that is somewhat true. Now, obviously, in the landscape of certain social media stuff, I think that's not as black and white as it is, but I think it does give into emphasis of, like, you can't always blame the person half the time. Now, when they're, you know, putting in calls for stuff or actually doing things like yes, it's problematic, but in a situation of K-Angel, where everything that she does is, like, somewhat kind of vague and stuff like that, like, she's not telling anybody to do things or telling anybody to do stuff. And I get some of the concern, like, when she sees people, like, when, I think during the interview, they brought up the fact that, like, there's a time where she showed off the fact that she was hurting herself and that's a bad influence, which I would agree. That's not great to do. You probably shouldn't be sharing that. But a lot of the other K-Angel stuff is just her being like, oh, I love you, you should be yourself, you should love who you are, yada, 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 do this, do that, all that stuff. There are people, like the girl that went to attack her on stage when they did that collab group thing with when she did the collab thing with the stream group, and her going off and not really caring about the attacker, but the attacker, like, just taking it, being like, oh, you ruined me, you did this, you did that. But that person's taking all the wrong ideas from K-Angel versus the streamer group each having their own interaction in some way with K-Angel, with Nichika and Lollipop being more direct as they like physically met K-Angel, and Michika, I think Michika did, I'm not gonna lie, Michika's backstory was very avant-garde to the point where, like, I don't know if you're just hearing her in your head or if you physically met K-Angel. I'm not 100% sure. Now, I will say there's a bit of a caveat to that, because if that is the case, K-Angel more or less directly interacted with these people rather than just the normal people that people complain about where it's through like a screen. So there's more of a direct interaction with that, so that's all this thing. But I think it is important to be like, oh yeah, sometimes it's not about what like the streamer says, or it's not about what like the content creator does. It's more of how you take it and how you apply it into your life, which I think, you know, Nidishiro overall tries to do, is be like, hey, yeah, you know, make sure you take it in the proper ways. Don't, you know, don't over exaggerate it. Don't over fantasize it. Like when you hear stuff from people, yes, it could seem like one way, but you should take the time to actually break it down and, you know, take it in a positive or take it in a way that's not negative, in the sense of what like things like K-Angel and other people do, not in like the direct like call to certain action stuff, because K-Angel doesn't really do any like calls to actions. She's more of like, the closest thing is more, she's just like a preacher of positivity. That's what K-Angel is. She's in a sense a preacher of positivity and wanting to do your own thing and freedom and stuff like that. So that's like the whole takeaway that I took from that and her stuff. Oh yes, the other main thing, I think Nichika is the main head of everything, not in the sense of the leader, that's the Lollipop, but she herself said that she is the glue, and from the past, her past, it does make sense. Without Nichika, I think both Michika and Lollipop are very lost in a sense. Nichika is the balance between too much freedom and too much restriction, playing into the main idea of balance within the game. So, first of all, Nichika is probably the most fascinating person to me, both aesthetically, because I'm not gonna lie, I just like tall women like that. I just like women the way that she looks. Short hair, tall body, slim, the build tilts. I love her. I like that. I like that tomboy aesthetic. It gets me going. But at the same time, I like her in the sense of how she's played in the show. Because when you look at the background that we learned for Lollipop, where, you know, she was somebody who she was someone that didn't feel pretty and wanted to feel pretty and was groomed is the wrong word, but was basically led by Nichika and Michika to build this new aesthetic for herself and this bombastic personality that she has of you should totally do what you want and do what you need and la la la. And Michika, while she is more calm, does have kind of like a gloomier and extreme way of viewing at certain things. I do appreciate that with Michika's backstory, she evolves from looking at people in a physical manner and having that affect her so much that herself had to die and then grow into basically being more of like beauty isn't in the physicality, beauty is in like the actions and the personality of somebody and how they live their life, and which I think she does have the most beautiful background of them all. I appreciate all of them. Funny enough, I think Lollipops is like my least favorite of the three, but in terms of like just how they are written, they're all very good backstories, and they all play off very well. But Nichika's, when you look at her, and she's just like this glue for her family. She comes from like a not great background. She is very she definitely struggled, but she seems to have the more supportive background of the three. She seems the most grounded in what she is, and she seems the most strong-headed for what she is. She definitely is someone that is more like, oh, I have like the plan and I'm going to push it, which is why I think her interaction with K-Angel is very interesting, because with Lollipop and Michika, K-Angel more inspired them. Like, they felt lost, and then she pushed them in the direction to become who they are. Nezuko is already that person she was when she met K-Angel. Or maybe it's more recent. I feel like she interacted. I don't think Nezuko influenced K-Angel. Or maybe she did. Somewhat. I don't know. I'm not fully remembering. But Nezuko definitely is different from Lollipop and Michika. And you see that in her interactions with K-Angel, where they understand each other of like how much it actually takes to like survive in this world and the balance of it, and how the balance is fickle and what you need to do. K-Angel kind of understanding that with her persona and the way she acts with boyfriend, and Nezuko with how she has to take care of both Michika and Lollipop. And so it's very interesting, but it seems like K-Angel still has an edge on her in a sense, because she still thinks in a way of like, oh, I see, you still care about people. Which is like, oh shit. It's like, yo, you're not doing it for yourself. That's going to be your downfall. Is that it's going to be your downfall. Is that you care about the people around you. I only have one thing, and I'm like massively focused on like not many things. But you still have care. You still have like stuff for people, which is crazy to think about given how K-Angel is, which is, I would like to see how that spins out to everything, because that is a fascinating way to like look at things after like what she's gone through. So overall, man, I'm liking it. I think like the top three for me hasn't changed. Like, spoiler alert, for this season, my top three I think is still ENGVtuber, Overload, Daemons, and ReZero. But oh man, Needy's fighting for that one spot. Unfortunately, I do think right now Daemons is at third, because ReZero is cooking way too good and Needy's cooking way too good. There's too many things that are cooking that are way too good. But I do think that like ENGVtuber Overload is so underrated. I am not seeing many people talk about it, and it's a crying shame, because this is such a good anime. It's so good. It's so great. It's fucking it's a phenomenal show. It is a phenomenal show, and I do hope more people end up paying attention to it, because by golly, is this fucking interesting. I cannot wait to consume more of it. It is genuinely going to be a fun time.
Oh girl, I cannot help it. You are my new obsession. I think I'm falling for you. That is my love confession. You're staying on my mind, girl. That should count as trespassing. I cannot help it when I'm falling for you. Hi, ma'am, beg my pardon, but damn, you got me started.